Hello YouTubers, in honor of Avengers Infinity War, I decided to revisit the previous two Avengers films. Now, I already went over my brief review and thoughts of the Avengers from 2012. You can check that out on my channel. Today, I'm going to be going over the 2015 sequel, Avengers Age of Ultron. While you're at it, you can also check out the Stardust app. You can post your reactions and reviews to your favorite films or television shows. Be sure to follow me on Fred Film Fanatic. Yeah, Avengers Age of Ultron is one of those sequels that's very divisive. People either really love this film, they are kind of in the middle, or they hate it. I'm more in line of being in the middle to almost hating it. This is a big step down from the first film, and ultimately it deals with sequel-itis. It tries to do too much. And while it does have its moments, it does have a bit more depth, it is a darker film, it just does too much. The action is just everywhere and just too much. I never walk out of an action movie and have a headache. This is one of the films where I was immediately disappointed, and I just had a huge headache coming out of the theater. This is a guy who has a segment on here called Action Reaction. It made the Avengers seem like an American movie classic. I thought the first film was enjoyable, but just a tad overrated. This film is really a fall from grace, and Disney's management over Marvel Studios is really present in this. Of course, Iron Man 2 Avengers was from different studios. Disney bought out Marvel Studios, and from Iron Man 3 onward, they kind of had this formula of just like jokes and just a whole bunch of action, which is good, but these movies are capable of so much more. But they decide to still keep it grounded, and in this we have Ultron, who of course was created by Ant-Man, Hank Pym, in the comics. Here he is created by Tony Stark. We get to see the Avengers on a mission. They're fighting Hydra. Yes, the evil organization from Captain America and the Avengers. I love the opening. We're introduced to the Maximoff twins, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, but without the X-Men connection. You don't know Magneto is their parents. They're just two crazy gifted people. They're not referred to as mutants for rights issues. And we have Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen playing those roles. Elizabeth Olsen does a really good job. We also have Paul Bettany going from Jarvis to the Vision in this. And I like it. There's a lot of stuff built up for the future. I like the Vision and Scarlet Witch. I'm a big fan of the West Coast Avenger comics. And it was cool seeing them here. Now, of course, it's not 100% like the comics, but Quicksilver's not very memorable. He kind of sucks. Yeah, Kid Vid from Days of Future Past was a better Quicksilver than this guy. But I have to say, he sure can catch a bullet. They're introduced, and it's a mission that's taken care of. Tony Stark then sees his weapon. He has Ultron. He ends up creating Ultron, a security force, but he ends up finding this power to use on the new invention he made. It basically makes Ultron self-aware, and he's this really super intelligent artificial intelligence who then is hell-bent on saving the world by destroying it. And that is the Avengers' mission in this film. But there's just so much going on with the plot. Crazy visions Thor has. Tony Stark doesn't feel like the Tony Stark from Iron Man. He's kind of back to being a big jerk and wanting to make weapons to save the world. He feels more like the warlord, arms dealer Tony Stark that we saw before he was captured. Black Widow, this is one of the first films that started the whole thing with her sleeping with every member of the Avengers. And I don't like the direction. The jokes double down. It gets silly, but also the over-sexualization of Black Widow really diminishes her character that was really well set up in Iron Man 2 and Avengers. Even with the Hulk joke of like, please don't get angry, and he's on top of her, like, really? The one addition I would say I like is Hawkeye. Hawkeye has a lot more to do here. He has a family. There's a lot more backstory because we didn't really get much in the first Avengers for Hawkeye. And that's the one character that has actually done justice. I also like the relationship between Tony Stark and Captain America. They're already starting to disagree. Now, they did have a bit of a quarrel in the original film, but here we kind of see them have two different political viewpoints, two different stances of being a hero and leadership. And that really is the seeds to what ends up being explored in Captain America Civil War. We also have Ulysses Klaus, played by Andy Serkis, who of course is one of the villains in Black Panther. So we have the mention of Wakanda and Vibranium mentioned. And we have the Hulk and Iron Man fight with the Hulkbuster. That fight is fantastic. I also like the part where they fight Ultron's army and Thor is like, "Is that all you got?" And you just see these waves of robots coming after them, and Captain America's like, "You had to ask." Some of the stuff is actually done well, but it's one of those films that tries to do too much. And there really isn't much explored. Ultron, James Spader is fantastic as Ultron, but he's such a great talent that is just terribly wasted in this. You're telling me that an AI who's self-aware, he just wants to drop a piece of land over a city. That's all he wants to do? He could take over every computer in the world. Do something crazy. His plans just seem so small, and it's such a terrible waste of not only a good actor, but a good villain. This could have been one of the best villains. And I understand the commentary that they're making towards films like Man of Steel or other superhero films of like, hey, we're saving individuals, save the civilians. Well, that's good, but you don't need to bring a point about it. It's almost like they're trying too hard to be like, hey, we're superheroes, we save people. And then guess what? Everybody dies. Freaking huge chunk of land just falls on them. But I do like that, again, because it also is seeds for Civil War with Baron Zemo. So it's one of those films that really isn't the best film it could have possibly been, but it does set up a lot of seeds for future films. In a way, it kind of goes on tangents that Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice did with certain sequences, but at the same time, it's almost like a tentpole comic book where, yeah, there's a team up, but really it sets up future stories for not only the team as a whole, especially with the Infinity War reference and Tony Stark seeing the future, but also on their own individual missions. It sets up Black Panther, it sets up stuff for Civil War, and there's a lot of interesting areas it could go in. Above all, Avengers Age of Ultron, it does have its moments, but I was severely disappointed with this film, so I give it a 2 out of 5. And that's just being generous. This is a real step down from the original film. And yeah, that's what I think about Avengers Age of Ultron. It kind of hurt the Marvel Studio films in my eyes. Not only with Black Widow and how they handle female characters, but with just the jokes. I'm like, yeah, it's good to be funny, but after a while, you're just like, okay, come on, another joke. It's sad when comedy parodies can be more serious than a Marvel Studios film. Thing is, I'm not saying this as a hater, I'm saying this as a fan. I know these films could be much more. So I'm hoping that Avengers Infinity War can make up for Age of Ultron and just go full Die Hard with a vengeance on us. I actually hope it's better than the original. We'll have to see. But Joss Whedon here, without Zach Penn, really just had a story that was just too much and just overstuffed and just disjointed and just sloppy. And a lot of the same mistakes he made here, he made on the reshoots of Justice League. And yeah, this is one of the weaker Marvel films, and it's not the Avengers sequel we really needed. But if you enjoyed the film, hey, that's good. I'm glad you did, but I just thought the film could have been so much more, and for me, I still like the first Avengers. So yeah, a 2 out of 5. Those are my brief thoughts on Avengers Age of Ultron. If you haven't seen it, I recommend seeing the Avengers, but you don't have to see all the films before Infinity War. It'd probably help, but yeah, go ahead and check it out if you haven't. If you have checked out Age of Ultron, let me know your thoughts. Did you like it better than the original Avengers? What are some of your favorite moments? What do you think about the film? Just let me know in the comments below. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Also, be on the lookout for my Avengers Infinity War review later this month. And again, check out the Stardust app. Post your reactions and reviews to your favorite TV shows or films. And if you sign up for an account, be sure to follow me at Fred Film Fanatic.